welcome to Forum Friday. Welcome, Mark.
Hi, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. It was an amazing year last year. It just flew by like that.
Yes,
How
it went
how
by
was it for
so quick.
you?
It was really quick. It was a lot of exciting things, and I've had a good feeling about everything as it's progressed. But when I saw the numbers, I mean, we had an incredible year. I think
Yeah, we did. Our
the
numbers are pretty good.
participation has been phenomenal, and that's what's making it all fun. And the nice emails that we get and everything like that too.
We actually had over 5,300 signups for the academy that we launched last year. So,
That is
um,
phenomenal.
yeah, and we only had like 18 seminars,
Hmm.
and it's just the participation has just shown me that this information is still very much needed in the industry in terms of technical and training and education. And I think a lot of people are just looking for that,
Hmm.
honestly.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, and great job on your recent Baked in Science podcast. I love the interview with Claudia.
She is great. She is phenomenal. That's been one of the most enjoyable interviews I've had so far. Um, she is really, I've said it so often, but it's so true. Her passion is infectious. I mean,
Yeah.
even, if you follow her on LinkedIn, her posts on LinkedIn are just like that too. She's
Yeah, I
just like,
know.
everything is amazing. And it's just, you can't help but feel like, oh, this is good stuff, right?
If
And
you
she's really
haven't
good, and she's
listened
so
to this
super knowledgeable.
podcast, you got to listen to the latest Baked in Science podcast hosted by Mark. And it's a really interesting farm to table conversation between Mark
Yep.
and Claudia.
Yep. She's the director of the California Wheat Commission, and she's extremely helpful. She sees it right from grade school all the way up, all of the opportunities,
I
and
wish everyone in the baking
yeah,
industry was like that. I
yeah,
really do.
it's
Yeah,
phenomenal.
it inspires me to want to do more.
Very true. Very true. Yeah.
So, what's going on over the forum, Mark?
Well, we have some interesting new posts, both of which happen to be from India. And the first one I thought I'd bring up is a member in India who has four pizza restaurants, and he's interested in making frozen pizza. Now, we haven't been able to get a little bit more yet from him, so hopefully we'll hear back from him yet. And because going just from a fresh baked pizza to a frozen pizza is pretty complicated. It's not as simple as simply freezing it and then away you go. The gluten has to be protected. The yeast has to be protected. The water has to be frozen quick enough so it doesn't crystallize out, and all these things.
So,
And
as a quick summary for our audience here watching today, what is the problem?
Well, is he? That's what we need to understand more of, is what exactly the objective is. I mean, he basically said he wants help to make a frozen pizza. And
Ah, not
so
really
we
detailing the problem, huh?
No, no. So we need to understand, what market they're looking. Is he just trying to make it convenient for his restaurants to have extra frozen pizza on hand, or is he trying want to sell his restaurant pizza into the consumer market for the consumers to bake at home? Those are two very different types of objectives, and how much does he want to invest in this? Because you could go with a blast freezer system, which is not as expensive to set up, but will cost you a lot more money on energy to be able to cool them quick enough. Or if you can invest in nitrogen, like liquid nitrogen or CO2, much faster, much better freezing, but it's and much more energy efficient. but it's a lot more money up front to get the system set up. So, and volume is important and things like that. And, does he want it to be a rising crust pizza so that the consumer sees it rising up as it's in the oven? And, it's different types of yeasts using different types of leavening systems. There's a
Yeah.
lot of specialists that need to be involved in something like this. Right?
Yeah, so I think you got it right. The freezing needs to be a priority. You can't do a
Mm-hmm.
slow freeze. And definitely the yeast, you got to use a freeze tolerant yeast. I think just attacking these two things up front is already a huge barrier to entry,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
So, if you do want to consider going from fresh pizza dough to frozen peaches pizza dough, it's a lot of technology that you have to climb over
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
hurdles in technology. So that's great. And I urge everyone listening to this, if you have a question, a problem, please detail it because it only helps the community to understand what you are experiencing. Pictures
Yeah.
helps, anything helps. Just don't,
Yes.
just don't be vague.
Yeah, we have so many members who are it's a wonderful community. Like there's people jumping in already offering suggestions and again asking like give us more information. Like our friend Jim Little so very often pipes in and things like on many of the questions and many other people from all over the world. So it's really a community that is forming. um, Everybody agrees to the rules and we've not had any arguments and things going on at all. Everybody is supportive of each other and it's really
Right,
nice to see and fun to read through.
right.
And then speaking of technology, the other one is almost the other way around in a respect, is that I almost wonder if they have too much technology involved. And this is a pan bread company. They do commercial breads in sliced white, and they say their crumb is nice and even and everything looks nice. But when they start to chew the bread, it starts to gum up and become rubbery. And they're adding a blend of ingredients that contains alpha amylase and xylanase and glucose oxidase and ascorbic acid and amines. So it sounds almost like it's a little too much. They are adding wheat gluten because the flour is a little bit low in protein. They're at a 10.5 protein, which is really not that bad for bread, but it's the quality of the protein probably that he needs to bump. Um, but there, maybe 1% gluten might be a little bit too much, maybe 0.5%, and maybe cut back on some of the enzymes to get better extensibility and stuff. And the main thing I think with this is thermal profile, that they're arriving too late in the process, that they're if they're even baked through all the way,
Oh,
because
that could be
they're
an
baking by
issue.
time, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So if it's actually not hitting the arrival temperature early enough, that could be the problem. That could be simply the problem that they're taking. They have maybe too hot an oven or something that it is dying off too quickly. Right?
So this is my experience with texture. And a lot of people seem to like to disagree with me on this, but texture starts from the oven. It does not start in ingredient solutions.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why there is so much resistance on getting a thermal profiler, but that's the first thing I always recommend because when I attacked texture issues, most of the time people will look at me and say, "Well, I don't know what my arrivals is. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know how much my bake out is. I don't know a lot of this." It's not about the total bake out. It's about how much time you stay in the arrival zone, which is 200 and above, right? Especially
Mm-hmm.
for white pan bread, it is so critical.
Mm-hmm.
And just a thermal profiler alone will be paid for by itself because you are going to bake properly and you're not going to overbake. You're not going to spend all that energy driving out
Mm-hmm.
moisture.
Agreed.
The
Yeah.
sun's coming out and it's attacking my face. Sorry about that. It's Portland. It's just like, where's the sun? Why does he need to come out while I'm doing life? Come out the rest of the day, okay? But anyway, definitely, Mark, you're right. You hit the nail on the head with this issue is thermal profiling. Look it up on Bakerpedia. What do you need to do with your different zones in your oven to get your arrival temperature above 200 and stay there so you can get the moisture baked off, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I say work there first before you go back and take out any ingredients because regardless of what ingredients or what dough conditioners or enzymes you take out and your baking process is not fine-tuned, then it's like juggling. It's just throwing it up in the air.
Yes, it may
Sketch.
very well be that the enzymes are doing the job they need to do for his type of dough,
Yeah,
and
it's just
that
it's
they're
just
hitting the arrival so late that the enzymes aren't being killed off properly, and that is producing some of this gumminess and rubberiness. So um, that is, very, very, very possible, right? And like to your point, I mean, if we don't hit the temperature early enough, then we don't get a proper bake out and we don't get a thorough kill step, even just for shelf life ability too.
yeah, and that's the thing I request for all of them who enter the forum is give us more information. What's
Hmm.
your oil? What's your emulsifier?
Yep.
What's your method? I mean, if you share all these, then everyone can really contribute. But if you keep things to yourself, no one's going to be open with you. You're not going to find a solution, and that's just life.
Hmm.
Life as a whole. If you're open to sharing and helping, then it comes back in abundance with you for you,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you
It
know.
and then you get so many minds sharing different experiences, and invariably somebody's going to share something that we hadn't thought of or something like that, and then
Yeah.
problem
There's
solved. And
so
that's the
many
whole point of these
good
forums.
there's so many good people on our forum and they're
Yep.
so willing to share. But you're not going to get the help if you don't share what you use. So
Hmm.
that's just my suggestion for everyone listening to this. Our baking industry professional pages, both on LinkedIn and Facebook, are all about helping each other solve baking issues. So,
And,
what else do
and
you
join
have?
us. We want you to join
Yeah,
us and
join
just
us.
please answer all of the two questions that we ask. So
Really? We only asked two questions?
we only ask two questions. We basically ask, like, what do you do, and be nice. Agree to be nice, right? And so you got to just answer those two things, and then you can get approved. And it's that easy. And because I've been Joanna and I, we're very diligent about getting back to people very quickly, and um, people don't sit with their requests for days on end. They're usually approved the same day in most situations. So we enjoy having all you members. So, but please, we want to make sure that everybody is treated fairly and respectfully. So just answer the two questions. That's the important
Yeah,
thing.
we like respectful people.
Yep.
We'll kick you out if you're not respectful.
Hmm. And it's been good. We've had no spammers, nothing. It's been really good.
That's a good community. You have really, really nurtured this community, Mark. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I enjoy it. It's very much. And there's
So, any
another
other
one.
problems we can talk about?
Yeah, there's another one I wanted to bring up today. Again, it would be nice to have some more detail. And Amber has mentioned that she is frying her dough instead of baking it, and she says she has an oil absorption issue. So the assumption is that she's getting too much oil absorption, is what I'm guessing. And the most common problem there is oil temperature. Make sure that the frying fat is at least 365 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 185 Celsius. And you can go higher than that if the fat you're using has a high enough smoke point to allow that.
Mm-hmm.
For
That's
example,
true.
peanut oil is used a lot in different types of frying situations because it has such a high smoke point, meaning you can go to 375, even 385 before it starts to burn and smoke, right? You definitely don't want to go to the flash point because that means you're setting everything on fire, right? So
You're not
you
gonna get
don't want
anything
that.
baked properly. Yeah.
But if you go to the smoke point, the oil, not only does the oil burn and burn your product too quickly, but it degrades really fast, and then you have to change it much more often. Um, so, but 365 is what, and above is going to help with the reduce the oil absorption in the frying process, because frying, let's remember, frying is really a baking or cooking process that is just very quick. Okay, so if you think about a bun, like a brioche bun, it takes a good 15 to 20 minutes to bake that in an oven. You put that in a fryer, it takes about 2 to 3 minutes. That's it, right? Because you're evaporating that water so quickly. So when you evaporate that water quickly, you seal it off, and then the fat can't get back in. But if you fry at a low temperature, then it evaporates too slowly, and it takes so long for the water to get out and for the proteins to seal up, and then it allows lots of time for the fat to get absorbed into the product, right? Now there are sometimes some specialty applications where the fat absorption is wanted, like old fashioned type of donuts where there's a big crack, and they're submerged fried and things like that, but they're meant to be high fat for some other reasons, right? Um, for deliciousness, but not necessarily
You
very
have a
healthy for you.
point. Yeah, I think a lot of people who enter the fried foods area don't understand the science of the oil. I mean, you have a lot of experience in this because you were part of ADM. ADM's
Mm-hmm.
portfolio is
Yeah,
huge.
yeah.
It's a
We
huge
did a
oil
lot of
producer,
frying.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you do, and oil science is something that is so important in terms of whatever Mark's saying, right? So your oil needs to be of high quality. It needs to be
Yes.
of a certain temperature, and to fry something that's not at the right temperature is not only not going to produce a terrible tasting product, but you're wasting your money.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely those are great points. And I urge you to really detail any more problems that you have in terms of frying your bread. It is not a simple thing. Everybody think, well, it's really simple. Just do this, just do that. But there is a whole research and science behind, donuts and fried bread. So
And
I don't think people really know about that.
yes, there is a lot of research behind that. I mean, we've, in my time at ADM, I've had the good fortune of working with a lot of large companies that do donut frying and other types of frying and things like that. And we can sometimes would spend 6 months or more on a project with them to get the oil blend right for the right flavor, the right
Yeah,
temperature, the right
exactly.
foil absorption, everything. So there's a lot of technical science that goes into that. And sidestepping a little bit just reminds me all of a sudden, as we were talking about all the details and the sharing, is there's one other post in the Facebook group under the baking industry professionals that is a real good example. And it's a fellow in New York, I believe it is, who is experimenting with longer fermentation periods for his pizza dough. He has no problem at all. He is just sharing his results in the different textures and flavors he gets with the different fermentation times
So
that
he's
he's
in
doing. And
Colorado, by the way.
or Colorado, okay, that's where
Yeah,
it was. Yeah,
Colorado.
and it sounds like a fabulous pizza that he has.
If
I
you're
mean,
in
it's
Colorado, go visit Smack Daddy Pizza. He's
there
doing
you
this
go.
amazing
So
research.
you know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yes. Yeah,
And
I mean, I
this,
was really interested by what he found out, you know.
yeah, yeah, and he keeps, coming back and sharing with his updates and results, and that's great too. I mean,
I love
that's
it.
the
I
whole
love it when
purpose
people do
is
that.
for us to
You
share
know,
information.
as a baker, we think we know everything. We've seen everything. But no, occasionally, we just get intrigued by things that people do like that, and
Hmm.
that's what I mean by innovation, right?
Yep.
And, I love it because innovation seems to come from the small guys,
Hmm.
who are willing to risk it, who are willing to put thoughts out there, risk ingredients, risk people, risk resources to make it happen. Right. And that's
Yep.
what Josh is doing. And I'm just
Yep.
amazed by what he's done so far.
Try
So,
things, fail fast,
yeah,
pivot, do
right.
again.
If it doesn't
Yep.
work, get over it, move on.
Hmm.
So we have a question on LinkedIn,
Oh,
and
good.
it seems that EHUB is looking for baking courses. Mark, I wonder where we could get baking courses.
Maybe bakerpedia.com/academy.
Yes. We actually have the first 4 modules of bread production on there for purchase, and it is focusing on the basic fundamentals of flour, water, gluten, yeast, fermentation, minor ingredients. So that's available on there, Ehab, if you want to purchase these courses. It's only $150 a course, but it's intense information for you that
Hmm.
you can't get anywhere else. Okay. So thank you for asking that question. And I hope to see you sign up for a few of these. And don't forget to sign up for our emails too, because we often give out free promo codes to get
Hmm.
discounts on these courses. Okay. So sign up for our email list, and to learn more, look at the videos. They're available on YouTube, and you can go through and see what course has what information and if that information would benefit you in your job.
Hmm.
So, one more thing, Mark, before we go. What's the story behind the ceramic donut?
Yeah, that was a real neat find. Is So my wife and I, we went to Las Vegas this year for New Year's to do something different,
Oh, how fun.
and met up with some old friends and stuff. So we had a real nice time celebrating together. And there's a brand new complex called Resorts World. And it is, not to make a plug, but just it's interesting that it's Hilton and Conrad is getting into the game there too. And the casino is run by Cromwell. It's a beautiful casino. And as we were walking through and just looking at things, I saw this thing on the wall, and I thought, are those donuts? And so we went up closer. It was hard to get a really good picture. I did post it and share it in the Facebook group, because it's glassed in, so there was such a reflection. But these donuts are inedible, but they're beautiful. It's a whole setup of ceramic donuts that are glazed, like ceramic glazed, and
Wow.
they're decorated with Swarovski crystals. So like these are some, Las Vegas style donuts, right? um, so it's an artist installation. It's beautiful. It's really intriguing, and really neat and interesting idea. And there isn't a donut shop anywhere nearby, but it's just so beautiful. And so I had to capture that and share that with the group.
That's so awesome. I thought they were cheap, but sounds like they are a little expensive to buy. And I don't know about
Yes.
investing in donuts that I can't eat.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't the edible ones.
Well, that's a lot that's happened on the forum, and it's nice to do a check-in with you, Mark. Thank you for coming on
Same here.
today,
Yep.
and
Yep.
just keep killing it.
Yeah.
You're doing an
Happy New
awesome
Year,
job.
everybody. Yep. We're having a blast. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.